Leaked case file. Subject: Vorn. Status: unresolved. This file was never meant to be public. There is no official press release. No confirmed arrest. No final report. Only fragments, logs, recovered messages, internal notes, and silence. The name Vorn first appeared where most investigations never begin, deep inside private darknet forums, buried in threads that were deleted hours later. At the time, no one knew whether Vorn was a person, a group, or a placeholder used by several actors. What made analysts pay attention wasn't reputation, it was absence. No profile history.
No disputes.
No leaks tied directly to a real identity. Just results. The earliest confirmed activity linked to Vorn dates back to a compromised corporate VPN in Eastern Europe. The breach itself wasn't remarkable.
No ransomware.
No public leak. But 3 weeks later, access credentials from that network appeared for sale, quietly, bundled with verified persistence. Whoever bought it gained long-term control. That was the pattern. Vorn didn't destroy systems. He didn't boast. He sold doors. Internal notes describe the methodology as clean intrusion with delayed monetization. In simple terms, break in, stay invisible, wait. Sometimes months. Sometimes longer. When the access finally moved, it was already too late to trace the original entry point. What alarmed investigators was consistency. Different countries. Different sectors. Logistics. Healthcare. Regional ISPs. Different security stacks. Same outcome.
No reuse malware. No ABS signature.
Just the same silence after compromise. One analyst wrote, "This is not someone testing limits. This is someone who understands them." By the second year, Vorn's name started circulating in closed chats between threat actors. Not as a competitor, as a source. If you needed stable access into a hardened network, you asked around. Someone would eventually answer with a single word: Vorn. No contact details.
No guarantees.
Just a price range and a warning. Once you buy, you don't talk. Recovered chat logs show buyers complaining about delays. Weeks without response. Sometimes months. Then suddenly, credentials would arrive. Valid, privileged, untouched by security alerts. One buyer described it as buying a house you're already living in. Law enforcement tried to follow the money. That failed quickly. Payments were split, delayed, rerouted through chains that collapsed after one use.
No wallets reused.
No patterns that survived more than a single transaction. Whoever Vorn was, operational security wasn't a layer, it was the foundation. The first real mistake, if it can be called that, wasn't technical. It was human. A private forum post appeared, asking a question no vendor should ask. Is anyone seeing instability in long-term access lately? The account posting it was new. No history. But the phrasing matched Vorn's known behavior too closely to ignore. Analysts believe this was the only time Vorn publicly acknowledged risk. What followed is harder to verify. Several companies reported internal security audits triggered by unexplained anomalies, authentication logs that made no sense, sessions that looked legitimate but couldn't be traced to employees. Nothing conclusive. No smoking gun. But the pattern shifted. Accesses that would normally resurface on the market disappeared instead. Some believe Vorn burned his own inventory. Why?
Theories vary.
Increased heat. A compromised buyer. Or something simpler, the realization that staying invisible was becoming harder than walking away. Then came the event that escalated the case from dangerous actor to strategic threat. A regional infrastructure provider experienced a cascading failure. Publicly, it was blamed on misconfiguration. Internally, a different story emerged. Archived access logs showed dormant credentials activating simultaneously across unrelated systems, not to attack, but to observe, to map, to test response times. Nothing was taken. Nothing was altered. But the message was clear. Someone had been inside for a long time. That access was never sold. After that incident, references to Vorn changed tone. Fear replaced respect. Buyers stopped asking. Sellers stopped answering. In underground spaces, silence is rarely accidental. The last confirmed mention of Vorn is a single line in a leaked moderation log. Do not allow threads referencing this handle. Risk exceeds value. No arrest followed.
No takedown announcement.
No victory lap. Just absence. Investigators disagree on whether Vorn retired, was compromised, or was never one person to begin with. Some argue the name was a shared identity, passed between operators. Others believe Vorn still exists, just under a different label, selling access so quietly it no longer leaves echoes. One internal report ends with an uncomfortable conclusion. If Subject Vorn is inactive, it is by choice. There is no evidence of forced removal. That may be the most unsettling part. In most cybercrime cases, there is an end, a mistake, a trace, a door kicked in at dawn. With Vorn, there is only a blank space where a conclusion should be. No face, no location,
No closure.
and somewhere, in systems that appear secure, there may still be doors that no one remembers installing, waiting for someone who already knows where they lead. End of file.